Hey, what's up guys, it's Tekosaur. So after reviewing Samsung 2024 small factor TV that could be used as a monitor, the QA90D 43-inch TV, it's only natural to see what LG is offering for us as well. So in today's video, I review the LG C4 42-inch, and not only that, we'll go through lots of details that hopefully will help you learning more about this TV. So let's get started. Inside the box, you will find the same two leg stand that LG has been using on their small size TVs for the C series. There is also this cover that helps in cable management. This way, you can slide cables in and lock them. When installing, make sure to slide the top part as you place it. Use and included 2 screws for each one. It also comes along with this cable organizer that you can put between those two bigger holes as indicated here. You can put on cables, lock them in, and it's good to go. And if that's not enough for you, there is also this cable cover that will significantly help managing your cables once you got everything in. It also comes with this IR plaster, which allows you to operate a set-top box or AV receiver connected to the TV by using the C4 remote control. And here is the LG Magic Remote it comes with. And I must say, the back finish texture feels so high-end, it's screaming elegance. Anyway, if you decide to wall mount it or use any arm or stand, make sure it supports base 300x200. For input, it has 3 USB ports, an audio jack, 4 HDMI 2.1 ports running at maximum of 144 Hz, with the second port supporting eARC for audio. Then you have a LAN port, an optical audio, antenna port, and the IR plaster one. You can see how it's pretty slim, being only 6mm. The screen finish is glossy and exactly the same one as the C2, giving you accurate colors and real contrast. Let's fire it up. When you start it for the first time, there is this brief installation process. Here you can optimize audio quality based if you have it on a stand or wall mounted. It also shows you some cool AI picture and sound enhancement to show you the difference. Pretty neat. Next, it would ask you whether you would want to enable the always ready mode. This allows the TV to act as a speaker when not in use, so it will be ready to respond to your voice commands. You can also set it to display clock, art, photos, or play music, etc. Finally, we got the software automatic update. Make sure to enable that option to get the latest features and fixes. And here we are in. I've got to say that the new WebOS home dashboard navigation is pretty smooth and responsive, even with all those tons of ads. Now let's explore some of its smart features. The first one being the workplace. Basically, this allows you to have access to remote services from Windows Office 365 apps, Chrome, Azure, etc. So you can connect your mouse and keyboard via Bluetooth and get all your job done on TV without the need of a PC. You can also have access to some apps from Google, etc. In the gaming section, you can play games by using stream services like GeForce Now, as well as watch live streams on Twitch. In the music one, you can use Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Amazon Music, etc. Next one is the LG Smart Hub Home. If you have other LG smart devices, you can control them directly from here. The sports one helps you to keep track of your favorite team matches and the news. There is also a dedicated section for accessibility settings, like if you need audio guidance, high contrast, inverting color, or use it in grayscale. Also for hearing enhancement and sign language. Also, if you got a webcam, you can connect it to the USB port and it can be used in video call apps. If you don't have a webcam, you can use your phone camera to act as a webcam for the TV. At the App Store, you can find lots of apps at your disposal, whether for entertainment, games, news, education, and much more. So that's it for our small tour of the WebOS dashboard smart features. On the left side, we've got the LG account settings, notifications, settings of the TV, search, and the channel's program guide. Let's see what we've got in the settings menu. A new change I found here is this new chat bot, which helps you in troubleshooting in case you are having issues with your TV screen, sound, etc. Here also in this quick menu, you have easy access to some features like changing picture and sound mode, set a sleep timer, use the eye care. Also, you can use the screen off feature. In the multi-view feature, we now have two modes to choose from, the dual screen mode and the new one, which is the dual PC monitor one. Let's check the dual screen mode first. Here you can have dual views at the same time. You can also use one HDMI input and a smart app, altering between side-by-side or PIP. Now let's try out the dual PC monitor mode. It's a new one debuted in the C3 series from the last year. So here you can connect two different PCs at the same time. Like here I have a MacBook and a Windows PC at the same time connected. Keep in mind that with the game optimizer, you can't use the dual PC monitor mode. Let's get to the advanced settings. So for picture modes, we have now a new feature called personalized picture that we are going to check in a bit. But other picture modes we have here are Wave, Standard, Power Save, Cinema, Sports, Game Optimizer, Filmmaker, and Expert. Before checking the new personalized one, we need first to disable the energy saving as the TV ships with it on. We can disable it by heading to the General section and then Energy Saving. You can also disable the auto power off as well. Let's do now the picture personalization setup, which basically use AI giving you a set of images to select from. And based on your options, it will automatically tune your image settings based on what you find appealing. Pretty good feature for anyone that just want to set it up easily with less tinkering in the expert setting. Even with the personalized mode on, you can still adjust some settings like the OLED brightness, contrast, and black level. I usually set peak brightness to high. Some settings may be grayed out due to not having any input currently on. I'll make sure to have film mode auto start option on, which will change to filmmaker mode automatically when movie content is recognized. In the sound, we have different modes between AI Sound Pro, Standard, Cinema, Clear Voice Pro, Sports, Music, and Game Optimizer. You can also change the sound output here, and if you have an optical output device, you can use it along with the TV speakers. In the advanced, we've got the Dolby Atmos option, along with balance, equalizer, and automatic volume adjust to avoid sudden volume increase. In the general, we've got the AI services that dynamically adjust picture and brightness, and there's also Sound Pro and AI acoustic tuning, which will optimize the sound after doing some test, reflecting sound in your room. You can also adjust the bass or treble. And OLED Care will give you some options to apply picture settings like comfort, kids mode, or theater mode. In the OLED panel care, you can do the pixel cleaning. Whenever you find some oddness in pixels like being stuck or something, mostly often, pixel cleaning will solve lots of those issues. And use the screen move feature to avoid stuck pixels, eventually increasing the lifespan of your TV. Also set adjust logo brightness to high, which will reduce the brightness of static logos, leading to less likely of burn-in situation. Let's leave the care settings. Here you've got parental control, programs related for broadcast programs, network for connection, and in the external devices, you can connect a controller, a mouse, or a keyboard over Bluetooth. In the HDMI settings, you can use the 444 pass-through if you want an uncompressed video signals. It's not needed for typical use as it indicates here being more for a content producer. Instead, the HDMI deep color will be on when using an input in 4K. SimLink feature allows you to use a signal TV remote control to easily operate an audio device or player connected to the TV via HDMI. Finally, Dolby Vision PC is a new feature debuted in the C4. We will extensively check it out once we get to the PC section. You can also control the universal control settings here to make the TV remote control devices like soundbar, set-top box, etc. Finally, you can turn on your TV by using your phone and use it like a remote independently from the LG Magic Remote. In the system, you can change the language, location. Additional settings has this Quick Start Plus feature, which is like a standby mode that helps your TV turn on faster. In the home settings, you can choose that when you turn it on, it automatically switches to the last input or home dashboard. And if you were annoyed by promos and ads, you can disable them in here, as well as screensaver promotion. Also, if you find the magic remote tracking pointer small or slow, you can change the speed and size in here. Lastly, we've got the energy saving, which we have already covered before. In the support section, you can check for software update. As I said before, make sure to have the auto update on in order to get the latest fixes and features. Also, if you notice your TV being unresponsive or laggy, use the memory optimizer to clean up apps running in the background. Alright, so here I am connected to the PS5. For picture mode, I have HDR with Game Optimizer. Here in the brightness, you can change the dynamic tone mapping to the HDR gaming standard, the HGIG. I will keep it just on instead, as I noticed that it gets dim with the HGIG. Now we get to the expression enhancer, which is another new feature in the C4. You can choose between off, detail, and brightness. We're going to see it in action once we get into some scene. And you can also change the video range in here. For PS5, I keep it on full. With Game Optimizer on, you can't change the color depth from here. Instead, you can do so in the Game Optimizer setting. In clarity settings, you can use some features for sharpness, resolution, etc. But when you have Game Optimizer on, they are usually deactivated. Now let's head on to the Game Optimizer settings to see what we've got. In the input lag option, set it from standard to boost in order to reduce some lag. Also make sure to have VRR and FreeSync Premium Pro on. Here we can see the new addition, which is the 144Hz mode, which is used exclusively for PC. The PS5 is limited to 120Hz, therefore it's not possible to use it with the PS5. Also enables the auto low latency mode, and you can also do some fine tuning to blacks in here. In the picture settings, we've got the black and white stabilizers, as well as contrast, black level, the color depths, tone mapping, and aspect ratio. In the sound, we've got the Dolby Atmos feature, and if you got a soundbar that already has it on, it will be great out from here. But if you use the TV speakers, it can be on as well. Go to the HDMI settings and make sure to have the HDMI deep color set to 4K, which will optimize the quality with UHD video input. And the cool thing is that the C4 supports all of the PS5 image features. I have everything enabled, and also don't forget to do the HDR calibration. And here we are in Horizon Forbidden West. I want to show you now the difference we can get with the expression enhancer feature. Here it is when it's off. Switching to detail, you can see it will focus on improving the visuality of the main subject of the scene. It would dim the shadows and filling objects while focusing more on the main ones. Switching to brightness will increase the overall brightness more. I think this could be useful in scenarios when your field image isn't quite bright, mostly with Game Optimizer on. So there you have it. The C4 does indeed pack a feature to increase brightness after all. And to be honest with you guys, the image quality on the PS5 with the C4 is brilliant. Everything feels on point: brightness, contrast, latency, dark level. You can never go wrong with an OLED. Let's try it on PC and see how the experience is like. Before all, a very important thing to check: go to the Home Hub, click on the three dots, then Edit Inputs. Make sure to have your PC input have the PC icon. That's not only for the look, but actually it will help the TV to recognize it as a PC, therefore enabling according features. So also on Windows, make sure to do the HDR calibration as well. Microsoft has this free app called Windows HDR Calibration, so just like other HDR calibration methods, just control brightness until the pattern isn't visible anymore, save the color profile, and make sure it's set in the display setting. Make sure in the HDMI deep color to have the 4K option again enabled in order to improve the signal for UHD resolution. We will check the Dolby Vision PC mode in a bit, but first I want to show you something. Now I have the Game Optimizer picture mode on. I wanted to check how the expression enhancer actually improves the image, as it's one of the main highlight features of the C4. You can see in this waterfall image how with off it's pretty decent, but with detail it didn't dim the waterfall itself, which is the main subject of the scene, but has dimmed the rocks and other less important objects, which would make the main subject stand out more, while the brightness option just increases the overall brightness. In this other scene, you can see with detail option, it just made the butterfly stand out more while dimming the background. So it's definitely using some algorithm to achieve this kind of effect. The brightness option will increase the scene brightness, In this final example, you can see with the detail option, it didn't dim the highlights but just the shadow area, while brightness just give it overall more brightness. It's honestly a very underrated feature, and for me personally, I love using the detail options the most. I feel the main subjects are much more clear with fewer distractions. I also wanted to show you for PC the difference between color gamut. You can see with native how it increased the saturation of the red rooftops. Dynamic just made them closer to real life, and Adobe RGB made colors less saturated. Of course, it comes to personal preference, but I usually settle for either auto or dynamic. Let's go to the game optimizer to show you some things here. Here you can change the picture setting based on the game genre, and OLED motion you can toggle it between on or off. Darkroom mode will dim the image to accommodate if you are sitting in a dark room and want to reduce brightness. For input lag, I'll set it to boost to minimize delay here as well. Now for using G-Sync, if you've got an NVIDIA GPU, enable this option here that is also needed for variable refresh rate. Instead, if you've got an AMD GPU, enable the FreeSync Premium Pro. You can see by default the maximum refresh rate is 120Hz, but the C4 is equipped with 144Hz mode for PC. By enabling this option, you can go beyond 120Hz and up to 144Hz, supporting 12 bpc no matter what refresh rate you choose. Here you can see the difference of motion in the UFO test for both 120Hz and 144Hz. I leave it for you guys to know which is which. Though it's pretty obvious, but let me know in the comments the answer. Also enables the ALLM option to reduce latency. You can use this fine-tuning option to adjust the black levels in here. In the picture, we've got the same settings for black and white stabilizers as well as contrast, black levels, sharpness, and color depths. For dynamic tone mapping, you can choose between on or off as well as HGIG. If you choose off, you can do manual tuning of the brightness range, and you can also change the aspect ratio in here. In the sound, there is this AI game sound feature, and if you disable it, you can use the manual equalizer based on your preference. Also, Dolby Atmos is enabled here as well. Here on PC, I'm running Cyberpunk 2077, and you can see it's set on HDR10 PQ. And I've got to say that image quality is absolutely awesome. Pixel density, sharpness, quality, colors, dark levels, it's totally giving me an awesome time playing PC on it. And here you can see how the expression enhancer effect on Night City. You can see how the detail mode will just improve the main subject to stand out while dimming distraction. Brightness will just increase the overall brightness. And now the moment we've been waiting for is finally here, or at least me. The C4 supporting Dolby Vision on PC. You can enable it in the external devices, and checking here in the display info, we can see that it indeed set it right and has the Dolby Vision certification as stated here. I also redid the HDR calibration in Windows to make sure it's optimized with the Dolby Vision. But the downside is that Dolby Vision on PC is much more less supported than, let's say, Xbox Series X, because the supported game list is very tiny, with just Battlefield 1, Mass Effect Andromeda, Need for Speed Heat, and Anthem beta version. They don't even have an official supported game list on any page like it's the case for Xbox, even though Unreal Engine 5 got Dolby Vision support, so technology-wise we are ready. So anyway, I went ahead and installed Battlefield 1 to try it out. Here you can see with HDR10, it's pretty awesome. But enabling Dolby Vision, you can see in the game, we've got Dolby Vision HDR mode. And whenever you see the Dolby Vision logo, it means the content is using Dolby Vision. And I've got to say that with Dolby Vision HDR experience is significantly better. It feels so immersive and beautiful. But unfortunately, the lack of support for games makes it pretty useless on PC gaming. Like when I have Dolby Vision mode on and launch Cyberpunk 2077 for example, it will switch automatically to HDR10 as you can see. Now what about if you want to watch content with Dolby Vision on PC? Sure, you can. Most streaming platforms like Apple TV Plus, Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, Netflix, Max, Paramount, and Vudu support it. So if your movie or show has Dolby Vision enabled, it should work fine out of the box. Instead, if you want to play movies or videos locally on your PC with Dolby Vision, you will need to install this Havik video extension, which costs $1 and can be purchased from the Windows Store. Since simply using the Movies and App TV in Windows 11, it will display Dolby Vision just fine. Here I got this Dolby Vision demo video, and you can see how the HDR quality looks way more immersive and lifelike. Also, if you have a sound system supporting Dolby Atmos, you will get both Dolby Vision and Atmos with full immersion. Now if I play this same demo video on VLC, which doesn't support Dolby Vision, it will still play it but in odd colors, and you don't get the Dolby Vision logo in here. Now you may ask, what about watching on YouTube? Well, as of this date, YouTube doesn't support Dolby Vision for HDR as well. All those videos you see saying Dolby Vision isn't going to give you the real experience. Something I noticed is that when you have Dolby Vision mode on PC, you can see that non-Dolby Vision HDR actually degrades. As you can see here, when I have it on HDR10, it looks much better, where with Dolby Vision it feels washed up and not that impressive. The lack of Dolby Vision adoption on PC for games just makes it sort of useless and not that strong feature of the C4 in my opinion. I hope more games will start to support it on PC as well, as it's the case for the Xbox Series X and S. So that was it for my LG C4 42-inch review. If you have more questions about it, please let me know in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer all. I'm also preparing a direct comparison between the C2 and C4 in 42-inch. So in this way, you can see the difference in every aspect and image quality. Finally, I hope you found this video useful. In case you did, please give it a like and subscribe to Techosaur to be updated on the future videos. You can also support me by becoming a member and unlock lots of cool stuff. Thanks for watching and support. See you in the next one.